The year is 1964. The place is Queens, New York. And a story is about to unfold that will forever change our understanding of human psychology. On a dark, rain-slicked street, a young woman named Kitty Genovese is walking home from her late-night shift. Suddenly, an attacker emerges from the shadows and a brutal assault begins. Her cries for help pierce the night, echoing through the quiet residential neighborhood. Lights flicker on in the surrounding apartment windows as residents are drawn to the disturbance, their silhouettes appearing as silent, watching figures. For over 30 agonizing minutes, the attack continues in multiple stages. Dozens of people saw or heard the horrific event. Yet for over half an hour, not a single person called the police. Why? This question haunted the city and the nation in the days that followed. Were these witnesses monsters? Were they heartless and cruel, indifferent to the suffering of another human being? The reality, as psychologists would soon discover, is far more complex and unsettling, revealing a dark quirk in our collective human behavior. The answer lies not in individual malice, but in a powerful psychological phenomenon that can turn a crowd of ordinary people into passive observers. This tragic event gave birth to the study of what is now called the bystander effect. It is a social psychological theory, which posits that individuals are significantly less likely to offer help to a victim when other people are present. The more onlookers there are, the less likely it is that any one of them will intervene. It's a paradox. In a crowd, our individual sense of responsibility can evaporate, leaving a victim helpless in plain sight. This isn't a sign of a decaying moral compass, but rather a predictable and preventable flaw in our social wiring. One of the primary psychological mechanisms at play is the diffusion of responsibility. Imagine that sense of personal duty to help as a tangible object. When you are the sole witness to an emergency, you hold all of it. The weight is entirely on your shoulders. But as more people are added to the scene, that responsibility shatters, and each person in the crowd holds only a small, seemingly insignificant fragment. Everyone assumes someone else will act, that someone else is more qualified, or that someone else has already called for help. Consequently, no one does anything. This inaction is reinforced by another powerful force: social influence. In an ambiguous or dangerous situation, we look to others for cues on how to behave. When we see a crowd of people looking on with blank or passive expressions, we internalize that as the appropriate response. If no one else is panicking, we might think the situation isn't as serious as it appears. Each person in the crowd looks at the others, waiting for someone to make the first move. And in this collective paralysis, a silent, unspoken agreement to do nothing is formed. The witnesses on that fateful night weren't necessarily cruel. They were caught in a powerful psychological trap, each one influenced by the inaction of their neighbors. By understanding the bystander effect, we can learn to overcome it. The key is to break the cycle of inaction. If you find yourself in an emergency with other people around, don't just shout for help. Take direct action. Point to a specific person and give them a specific task. You in the red jacket, call 911. By assigning responsibility, you shatter the diffusion and turn a passive bystander into an active helper. And by understanding these psychological forces, we are not just learning about a tragedy from the past. We are equipping ourselves to build a better, more compassionate future.